programming. A lot of people that attended the session yesterday was a SQL session, and um, there was nobody that was interested in Python as of 6 p.m. yesterday. I later got response. I think towards 8. I think. So kindly confirm if you can see my screen, if you can hear me. Um, so a little bit about myself. My full name is Chiku Liu Abdul Samad. I um, I majored in mechanical engineering and delved into data analytics in 2015, 2016. I was introduced to data analytics by um, my former boss back when I was a salesperson with Airtel Nigeria. And so basically, he approached me and asked me if I know anything regarding data analytics, and I told him no. He thought I had the potentials of somebody who might learn quickly, and he then further asked if I knew Microsoft Excel. I told him no, and he said he's going to give me a trial period of 2 weeks. I should go and learn how to use Microsoft Excel, and from there, 1 week into learning Microsoft Excel, um, I was given task to actually do. So, and that was how I entered into the data analytics field. By then, it was mainly Google, nothing like AI. Even on YouTube channel, you barely see people talking about data analytics as a course of study. You hear people either talk about Microsoft Excel as a tool or SQL as a tool. I think even Python was not that famous, even though they were using it, but it wasn't as famous as you think. My introduction to Python was in 2010. That's the first time I ever knew what Python programming is. At that time, Python was still in its version either 1 or 2, if I remember. I think version 2, and the interface wasn't really interesting because it had its own command line tool, very uninteresting, and we couldn't actually use it for a lot. But um, in 2020 or 2019, 2020, prior to the pandemic, I started learning a Python web framework called Django. And when I learned it for a while, I thought I should go and learn the basics of Python. And I started learning Python officially in 2020. Since then, I've used Python in the field of data analytics, machine learning, the one they call artificial intelligence. Back then, it was neural networks. um, I've used it to build applications, several applications that went into production, that went live at a point in time. And so time to time, I do like to post things like this just to um, uh, reassure myself if I still. So it's more or less like a revision for me, and to also see how I can help people within my network, that's in LinkedIn, to guide them to resources or even teach them based on what I think I know. And so I had offered this a couple of times. Sometimes people respond, sometimes people don't respond. So now and again, I would post something like this on my LinkedIn and see if, how people respond. Um, so I would like to ask you, Mariam, um, on a scale of 1 to 5, one being not good at all or zero um, with experience with Python, and 5 being you are excellent or you are confident with Python, how would you rate yourself? You don't need to respond, you can just send me a message.
Okay, I'm actually back. I'm at home now.
Oh, cool, cool.
Let me 2.5.
Oh, so you are quite confident with Python. That's interesting.
Not okay. So the challenge is So I learned Python a couple of years ago, but I've not really
Use
um used it exactly, and I've not actively. It's not that I'm trying to go back and just juggle my memory of things and try to pick it up again. So when I saw like, okay, so this is probably what I needed. At least it will give me the ginger to go back.
so I'd like to ask what what your job function now, if you don't mind me ask.
Okay, I'm a contribution officer at a pension company.
Okay,
So I
so
had
what? Okay, sorry. Please continue.
Yeah, so I handle the contribution processing basically. That's what I do.
What tools are you conversant with
At work, I use Excel majorly.
majorly? Oh, cool. That's interesting. Why would you say you want to learn Python? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, so I had a background in mathematics.
Oh,
I,
nice.
yeah, I do. And of course, coming out of, I did mathematics education, but I know I'm not going to do education because I'm not teacher material, and I don't want my students to stress. So I think in 2020, I was looking into what I can do aside, of course, being a teacher with mathematics. And I stumbled into data science, which, I mean, data science is a bit broad. I don't know, maybe because I didn't have, and I think one of my challenges with data analytics is there's just a lot out there. You don't know which exactly you should focus on. There's too much skills, too much, okay, pay attention to this, pay
Too
attention
much
to that.
information. There's too much info.
Exactly, yes. And you don't really have anyone that will now tailor it down. So, okay, just focus on this. And then there's all those job offers that means data engineering with data analytics, with data science, everything together. So it was confusing at the point. I just like, oh, please let me. So that was basically why I thought. Then I did some courses. I had a physical training, guess in tech. But then I
Oh, I
now
know
started
that.
to
I know that.
Africa agility.
Yeah.
It wasn't. We were able to cover the basic of data analytics, not data science that we were supposed to be trained for. But then, yeah, it was a good start for me, and I
Okay.
was able to do some things with Python. Yeah, it was just that I was looking for where to intern at the time. Then I had to leave Lagos for NYSC, so that gap was what disrupted my data journey. So, but now I feel like it's something I want to go back to. Yeah.
That's interesting. So where do you reside now? In Lagos?
Yes, I'm back in Lagos.
So what in terms of the Python, what which of the tools do you use for to implement Python programming?
Um, uh, what was this? Oh,
Anaconda.
Anaconda. Yes, Anaconda.
Okay, so and do you know why you used Anaconda?
I didn't know that was what I was introduced to.
Okay, so So basically, the reason why Anaconda is preferred is because you're actually doing an application of Python programming.
Okay.
So it's easy to use Anaconda, especially the application of Python programming, which is to data analytics, because you're actually going to be using libraries like Pandas and NumPy. If you want to go to data science, you'll be talking about scikit-learn and Seaborn, Matplotlib, as well as for visualization. So the reason why they use Anaconda is because by the time you implement a particular syntax or a particular instruction, you get to see your response almost immediately. So, but personally, I I use both. I really don't have a problem with using anyone, but for me, it depends on what I want to use it for. So, say for instance, I want to use it to do an analysis for some data. I would go to Anaconda. But if I want to build a program, a script, I would not use Anaconda at all. I'm going to use native Python.
Okay.
So, that being said, what I'm just going to do here is before I go to something practical, I would want us to agree. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of people here. You are just the only one. So you'll be the decisive factor of whoever is going to come after you. So I want us to agree on a time in the week that we will meet. The goal is actually to take people to professional level of being comfortable using Python programming. And most likely you might see some applications in data analytics in web development if I have the time. But in data analytics, most likely. Um, so from Mondays to Sunday, maybe twice a week, you can actually fix a time or the day of that week. Again, you'll be the decisive factor for a whole lot of when it's come to the timing. Then I'll look at my schedule. If it's okay, then we can agree on that. If you don't have anything now, it's not a problem. But before the end of this session, you should come up with something. I can make suggestions if you want, but I am quite flexible with my time. And so even if it's during the week, it's me personally, it's fine by me. I don't have the traditional work going to work um, every day of the week, fortunately or unfortunately. So um, in terms of the timing too, you can come up with a time. Like I said, whatever we discuss here is what we follow up. It will be like what is going to be the foundation of any follow up conversations or email. And in terms of when we are going to start, we've actually started, and it's how we are going to continue with it.
Yeah.
So um, So if you don't have anything now, it's fine. But maybe before the end of the session, which is by 3, you should come up with something. But if you have something to say, it's not a problem. You can say it before we continue.
Okay. So if I'm going to, uh, I still work Monday to Fridays, and I juggle the mainland to the highlands. So I'm usually back home late in the night. So I don't think weekdays are visible for me. However, I think we can do weekends. So the timing
Okay?
is now depending on your schedule. Weekends, my Saturdays, maybe in the morning, 10, 11, if that is fine, or in the evening. But I know that you have the SQL class for
Yeah,
Saturday, Sunday.
4:30 to 5:30 Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. So that means even if we're going to do so Sunday, I think we can keep to 2 to 3 or maybe 3 to 4. Okay,
Yeah,
we
2
have
to
four
3 is fine. 2 to 3 is fine.
keep to 2 to 3, and
Yeah.
then Saturday in the morning, maybe 11 to 12, if that is fine.
Mhm. Okay, so like in the morning I go out for exercises. So otherwise, if your Saturday afternoon is not fine, then we can meet in the evening, like anything from 8:30. So it will just be an hour, 8:30 to 9.
9:30.
I don't want it
That's
to
fine.
be too boring. I want it to
That's
be as short as possible. In fact, that we will not have enough time and you can follow up on whatever platform we're actually going to use and you ask your questions there.
okay.
Um, so I think we're at an agreement, right?
Yeah,
Regarding,
we
so I'm going to take that note down. So like I said, it's unfortunate for the rest of people that will join later on.
but I think the timing will work for everybody. I mean, 8:30 at night is still fair on a Saturday.
Like I said, you are the determining factor of every other people that will come. Um, so please we do three, two, two, three. Just taking it down. Do you have any question? Any follow-up question?
So, I want to assume that I'm just starting afresh because again, I'm a little bit rusty and all. So, and from your experience so far, if I want to pursue data analysis, like really pursue it, should I first stick to Python because this whole Power BI, SQL, Python, and is it possible for me to just say, oh, I'm just using? I know I might have to learn others along the way, but is it possible for me to narrow it down to one particular thing at a point and face it and before bringing other things, or do you think it's something I can juggle together?
Okay, based on your question, right? You see the idea of, and I, unfortunately, it is because school has really spoiled us, right? And we
Mm,
think we can learn everything. And there's this, let me learn it, I never know where I would use it.
yeah,
That is a complete wrong notion of learning. Anything you learn and you are not using, it doesn't have use for you.
yeah,
Anything you learn and you are not using it has no use. The learning is quite frankly useless. So what me I usually like to advise people is whatever tool you are using for data analytics now, case in point Microsoft Excel,
okay,
learn it to a comfortable level. Um, whenever you have new learn a new tool, then you should learn it. Not because every other person is learning it. I don't know if you understand.
okay, okay,
For instance, you want to go to an interview, or you see you might be interviewing for positions that will need tools like SQL, Power BI, or Tableau, or Python. Then you should learn it, just so you'll be able to answer questions. By the time they now give you a job and you tools we are asking for is what in the reality is what they are going to use, then good and fine. Otherwise, if it's not those tools, we end up forgetting. And a lot of times, a lot of jobs that will give you all of those criteria of this tool, that tool, are mostly lies. Because at the end of the day, you will not use it. It's just somebody from HR that went to Google or ChatGPT or one of these generative pre-trained transformer application and just ask tools for data analysis, and people will just come out with crazy job description. But that would be my own advice. Learn only when you need it.
okay,
For me, I don't use Python in my current job. I don't even use SQL in my current job. Neither do I use any of the visualization tool. Mostly Excel and PowerPoint. But because I do a lot of other kind of gig, building applications and consultancy, and so that's why I had to learn the rest of the tool. So basically, for data analytics, what you would use If you have a solid foundation in Microsoft Excel, you are good. So Microsoft Excel, then tools like SQL, Power BI, or Tableau, and then Python. These are like the major tools. You understand? So the Power BI mainly for visualization, for complex visualization, interactive visualization. The Microsoft Excel, of course, a lot of organizations are using Microsoft Excel, and it's a crazy tool to actually use. SQL, if you are having to deal with database with a lot of data that Microsoft Excel cannot handle, then Python, well, anything that SQL and Microsoft Excel cannot do, Python would take over. Um, so for now, my own advice is, so if you want to ask me in terms of the tool, so it will be Microsoft Excel, SQL, Power BI, then Python. Now that doesn't necessarily that, for instance, you saw an opportunity like this, you cannot. You understand?
Yeah.
So, but if you ask me, this is what I will tell you to do. So, Microsoft Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Python. So, the question now I want to ask is, in terms of Microsoft Excel, right? Where would you say you are on a scale of 1 to 5?
Okay, so I will. Okay, I'm not totally a novice, but then I'm not. I still use just the basic formulas, VLOOKUP, needs, and so maybe like a two or three. Because I am aware that there is a whole lot of other things that Excel can do that I've not um gotten into. Yeah, so it's just basically the basic now.
So, do
Pivot
you
table.
do, if you do pivot table, it means that you're an intermediate level. So, it means you do visualization as well using Excel.
Yeah, I do.
Do you use Power Query?
Yo, I do.
Okay. So the Power Query is like you go like advanced level, and that's not a problem. We're gonna have like a conversation regarding that, and I might still give you certain resources to learn. I will give you tasks to do. So, but I
Okay.
have a rule. I don't used to beg anybody to learn. Like if you want to, you see, it's like if you need something, you know where to go and look for it, no matter how scarce.
Yeah.
That's how I am. Knowledge sharing. I don't go and beg anybody to learn. Not even if you pay me money for it. I will not beg you to learn. I will teach you what I think I need to teach you. I give you certain tasks to go and do. I'm not going to remind you if you've done that task or not. Until when you come and meet me. See, the more you disturb me, the more I will respond to you, basically.
Okay.
If you don't worry me, I'm not even going to get bothered. You
Fair
understand?
enough. Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you as not because it is free, no, even if you pay me to, because I train people for a living, like I've been doing that for a very long time. Not even if you pay me. I'm not going to worry myself if you are not, which is why if you look at the post I send, the second criteria is that you have to be willing to do the work. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So, because the one thing I didn't say is that I'm self taught. I taught myself majority of the things I know. Like I taught myself every tool you see, maybe I might have mentioned on LinkedIn or so, or you might see my profile. I actually taught myself those tools. I don't have a lot of certification to show for them, and I don't really bother with certifications as such.
Okay.
So talking about certification, I'm supposed to write one certification. I just remembered now. Anyways, so that being said, I think do you have any questions for me personally, or we should continue?
Yeah, I think we can continue. If I have any question, I will ask subsequently. But for
Okay,
now,
cool.
we're good.
Now, so in order for us to actually use Python, you actually need the Python program itself. So the Python software. And so I would provide you with the link as to where you go and get the Python. Like I said, I'm recording this video. So usually if you want to download Python, um, you look at the release date, right? So this is August 14, 2025. Don't go for the latest. Why?
Okay.
Because anything new, there's usually a bug that they will need to fix. So look for something that is a little bit older. I think I am using Python 12. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. Um, so first, if you want to check if you have Python installed, you just go to your Windows startup, go to your command prompt, you just type cmd, and this is going to. I'm assuming you are using a Windows operating system.
Yes, I am.
So if you are not, if you are using either Linux or Ubuntu, let me see. I think I have Linux here. Ubuntu. So if you are using Ubuntu, it's still the same thing. You go to your terminal, or if you are using Mac OS, I think you also go to your terminal. And so in order for me to check if I have the Python program installed on my PC, I'll just type Python, then space dash dash, then I'll see either dash dash or minus back. I'll click enter. Oh, um, sorry, I forgot that Ubuntu is Python 3. Okay, so for Ubuntu, you just type Python 3, then dash dash version. So you can see that I'm using 3.12.2, then if 3.12.3. If you are using either, so this is for both Linux as well as Mac. But for Windows, using your command prompt, you just type Python dash dash then version, and it's going to tell me that I'm using 3.12.8. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's fine. Um, Now coming back to these particular versions, I can just look for 3.12.8. So you can see it's December 2024. I didn't really bother to upgrade it, but if you want to, you can go for maybe the 3.11, maybe 3.13 if you want the version 2.13.5. Don't go for the latest because usually there is a bug. Anything new, I think it's a rule of thumb for almost everything that people are really skeptical of going for something new because you don't know if they've perfected it or not, right? So somebody will like, no, I'm going to wait for the next version, or I'm going to wait for the next iteration of that particular um thing you want to get. So usually I advise people, if you are looking for anything like software, do not specifically, don't go for the latest version. Just go for something a little bit older. So August 6th, I wouldn't really go for this. Just go for something around June, and maybe when they've perfected it, then you can upgrade if you so want. Now, if you want to download, you just click on the download here, and it's going to take you to a page for download. Just scroll down, right? So a lot of times people who are using um, Windows, you can either go for 64 bits or 32 bits. But if you are using a 64-bit operating system, usually click you go for the 64-bit. Now for somebody who is using a 32-bit operating system, go for 32-bit. How do you know if you are using a 64-bit or 32-bit? You just click on your Windows startup and just type about. Click on, so I'm using Windows 11, right? But I would teach you for other OS. So you can see under my about, under device certification, I'm using a 64-bit operating system. If you are using either Windows 7 or Windows 8, you just go to I think control panel and sorry, excuse me. Um, okay, and I think you can also say, I think it's PC. Aha, system. Click on this. Oh, it's still going to open this for me. Um, so you would see your 64 bits OS, or if it is 32-bit, you are going to see it. So this determine the kind of software you can install. Now, if you are using a 64-bit operating system, it means you can install 32-bit. But if you are using a 32-bit operating system, you cannot install any software that is a 64-bit. How do you know that? If I go to my local disk, my main local disk, you see programs for both. You see two programs: program file for nothing and program file for times 86. So 86 times 86 is literally your 32-bit OS. So these are program files for installing 32-bit software, while this program file is for 64-bit software. So 64-bit OS would take can install 32-bit software, but a 32-bit OS cannot install a 64-bit OS. I don't know why that is, but well, so usually you look for installer. Don't go for any of these. Just look for installer. Then you click on it, and it will either down your browser will either download it, or in my case, I'm using a a a downloader, and it's done. When you are done, you click on open, or I'm not going to click on open. Let me just I'll go to my downloads, um, go to programs wherever it's being stored. I'll just click on the software. I'm going to get a prompt. So usually if you want to install, this is where you are going to click on install now, but click on also admin privileges as well as add Python to path, and you click on okay. It's going to ask for admin access, but I'm going to cancel this. Um, and when you are done, you can then go to your command prompt and you just type Python dash dash version, and you would see the Python version you have. Um, then, if I want to interact with Python, I can actually do that without using anything. So I'll just type Python. Python has an IDE attached to it. It's like a command prompt as well, where you can actually do a lot of things. So I could say import, I think it's date time. Sorry. Okay, that would say time. Let's say date time dot now. I think okay, so it doesn't have date time dot now. So also let me see. Oh, I think he can actually. Oh, sorry. So it will be date time dot now. Date time. Oh, so it should be dot now. Okay, so it's going to tell me today's date and the current time. So basically, if I want, I could say date time dot date dot now. Oh, it doesn't have. Interesting. So I think I can say date time. Then I'll add a an attribute called, I think, year. Is it year or oh, I need an integer. I think it's here. Anywho, you can actually interact with the Python IDE, but it's really not interesting for you to use. So we use different text editor. So we have VS Code. If you Google it, you could download VS Code. Um, yeah, so you have download for Windows, and I think you also have for other um for other OS. So if I click on download, I think it's supposed to take me to so you have for Windows, this is for Linux as well as Mac. So you can either use this. I prefer to use my VS Code, but if you want, you can use Anaconda. But Anaconda, you don't actually need to install the Python software. It comes built in. Um, I could install what's this other one that people like to use very well. So I'll just say text editors or code editors, and so we have so there's Sublime Text. There is let's see there's Notepad plus plus, but it's not really a very nice editor to use. There are some other cool text editors. So there's Sublime, there is VS Code, there is okay, GNU. This one is for um, Linux. Interesting stuff. Oh, this one is for iOS and this is for Android. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know. So I have a friend who likes to use Sublime, but me, I actually like to use VS Code. So you can download your the software for your operating system. So if I click on this, it's going to so I'm able to download it and you can just install. Do I install it? No, just try and install it. If you have problem installing it, check YouTube, and I'm very sure you see how to install. And so I do have my VS Code like this. Let me close it and launch it again. And so this is my VS Code. If I click on it, the user interface is going to pop up, and already by the left hand side it has an explorer where you would have your files, because you still need a file or a filing system inside VS Code, and so these files are just your directory in your local PC. And let's say I for the first time I open VS Code, it's going to be something like this, and I will have to navigate to a folder that I want to write my programs in. So in this case, I will just click on open folder, or I can go to file. By my left hand side, go to open folder, go to the folder I think I would be writing my programs in this case here. I'll just click on select folder, then I can create files if I so want to write my program. And so if I can either create files by clicking here, come to file, new file, or I will just click on new file here. Or in my case, just to show that I know what I'm doing, I would use I like to use, so I have Ubuntu installed as a uh, subsystem in my Windows 11. So I like to use Ubuntu to create my files. And if I just launch Ubuntu terminal, it would, oh, so you can actually launch your terminal inside VS Code. You just either click on terminal, new terminal, or you would say control and control tilde. So control tilde is the that icon that you see after the escape button. Beneath it is the tilde button. I don't know the other name. It looks like a wave like that, like um let me show you, let me use hand gesture so you can see what I'm saying. So something like this, it looks like something like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. Mr. Hassan, good afternoon. You came late. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
Why did you come late?
Well, I was initially because I used to work on Saturday, so I was somehow busy, and I was also on the way trying to meet up.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're highly welcome. So
Thank you.
you use control tilde to open a new terminal, and I have different terminals. I can either use PowerShell, I have Git, I have command prompt, Ubuntu, Windows subsystem installed in my Windows 11. If you are not using Windows 11, it's fine, but you can also actually install Ubuntu as part of your um, terminal as well, the terminal for Ubuntu. Um, so depending on the one you want, all the terminals I have are by my that I've opened are on my right hand side, and you can see if I click on them, it will take me to a different terminal. If I want to delete one of them, I could just click on anyone and just click on delete here. And so from here, I can actually, if I so want, I want to show somebody that I'm a pro, I can create my files here. Because if you notice, this is like a directory to my current file, to where I am, which of the folders I am. This literally, so you can see LinkedIn Python session. You can also see LinkedIn Python session here. If I click on the PowerShell, you can also see this is my C drive, the user folder, do folder, document, like that and like that. So if I want to create a file, I can either say new file. I would say either a text file or a Python file, or any file I want to create. Or let me just click here. I would say a text file, and I'm going to save it. Control S for save, and it will say where do I want to save it. Here, and is it as a plain text or what kind of file? I don't think Python is here. Oh, is it okay? I think Python. Okay, there is a Python. Yep, there's Python here, and I can just name it anything. I would say, let me look for trouble. I would say Miriam, and click save, and you can then see that it will say Miriam.py. Otherwise, I could click on this plus button here. If you notice, let me increase my font. If you notice, you see this um, a file like system with a plus. This is a folder like system with a plus. You click on new file, it will say what file do you want to create. I'll say Hassan. Then you give, every file has a file extension. Like Microsoft Excel, if you can remember, what's the file extension for Microsoft Excel?
XLXS.
Yeah, good. So if I say Hassan.xlxs, you can already see that it's already giving me an icon of Excel.
Yeah.
If I say Hassan.csv, you can already see it's giving me an icon of CSV. If I say um Hassan.text, you can see it's giving me an icon for text. If I say Hassan.c, it's already giving me an icon for C programming. But for Python, it will be Hassan.py, right?
Yes.
Or if I want to show that, I want to prove to you guys that I know I'm a guru and something like that, I'll just use my terminal to do that. So um, we don't have to, but I actually like to use terminal. And so I've created my file. I think for PowerShell it is, let me see, it is new item. Sorry. I've actually forgotten the PowerShell command for new item. I've forgotten the PowerShell command for a new item. Okay. So new item, I will say new item dot hi, then I'll say hyphen, then I'll say new item. No, I would say item type, and I will now say um file. I think um, it's mm, yeah. I think I would say new item because I don't really need the interesting. Oh, sorry, it is not new item like that. It is new item dash. Then yeah, it's going to create my file for me. So depending on what you want to use, or you want to show people that you are a guru, it all depends on what you want to use. But either which one would give you the desired result. So excuse me. So once you open your file, and if you want, you can actually create a folder if you so want. Um, for folder is I think the terminal for the command for folder is this item type. I don't need a file extension. I can just say new. I can just say Python underscore session, and the file type will just be directory. I'll click on it, and you can see it has opened a folder for me. For Ubuntu, you just say make the make directory, and I'll just say Hassans underscore Python, and it will create a new directory for the folder for me. If I want to really check, I can navigate to the folder, um, which is in my documents. This under the Python session, and you can see the different folders that I've created and the different files. So this Explorer is actually um, a a folder in my PC. Um, let's see. So let's say for instance, and these are just few tricks. Let's say for instance, you my VS Code is, I close my VS Code and I have my folders already. Maybe you copy this folder from a friend or so. I want to launch my the VS Code that it should automatically just pick from this folder. I want to launch my VS Code using this folder. What I can do is just right click here on anywhere here and go to open terminal. And if I do that, I get my terminal, and I'll just type code, and you can see under my terminal, you can see my directory here. It's in this particular place, document as it in LinkedIn, and I'll just type code. So I'm saying you should launch my VS Code from this particular folder, LinkedIn Python session folder. If I just click on enter, it's going to launch my VS Code for me, and you can see that it is in that particular folder. If I want to go to a different folder, I can just close this, go to the folder I want to use. Let's see, okay, this. I'll right click, go to open terminal. Again, this is not part of the Python session. I'm just trying to give you guys some tricks. So I'll just type code, and it's going to open. Oh, it keeps opening the same place, which is interesting. It is not supposed to do that, is it? Oh, so it doesn't really care. Oh, interesting stuff. Anyways, it really doesn't care where I open my terminal from. So in so Python program works basically, it's like English language, right? It works with instructions or syntax. So you have to give it syntax, an instruction that do certain things, for instance, and it will do it for you. And so in Python, you have different syntax for different things. So for instance, if I want to print, maybe if I want to display something, for instance, let's say welcome to Python programming, for instance, what I'll do is to say, I'll just type the word print, and I'll open a parenthesis and close it. Then I'll put, since I want to type a text, if you are typing text in Python programming, you can either use a single or double quotation. Anyone works. I'll just type welcome to Python programming, and I'm going to save it. Control S. I've saved it, and then I can either click on this run code, right, or I'll come here to my terminal, depending on the terminal I'm going to use, but we are mostly going to use PowerShell. I will now tell it, I'll say Python, then I'll call the name of my file I want to run, liu.py, since liu.py is where I wrote my instruction. So I'm just saying print welcome to Python programming. I'll just click on enter. Oh, I forgot that this is Ubuntu, so I have to type Python 3. And you can see when I type Python 3 py.liu.py, you can see it's telling me welcome to Python programming. But in this case, let me not confuse people. I'm going to use PowerShell. I'll just say py or Python liu.py, and you see welcome to Python programming. I can just say py, and it works the same. So basically, I'm saying use Python programming software and run this particular Python file. So because if I say py and I just say liu, it's really not going to tell me anything, and because it doesn't understand what I'm saying. So liu what is the extension I'm running for liu? So even if I say liu.csv, for instance, it's going to still give me an error because liu.csv is saying that it doesn't exist. But let me even create liu.csv by going to new file here. I'll just say liu.csv. So even if I do that and I run pylu.csv, it's not going to show me anything. And most likely maybe because there's nothing, but let me see. I am Hassan Yusuf. Let me see if I run it. I'm going to save it, and if I run, oh, interesting. It did run it, but it doesn't understand the instruction there. But you can see it's showing me I am Hassan Yusuf, and that's because the CSV is not a Python file most likely. And I think even if I say print, I don't know if it's going to work. And I'm going to save it. Anytime you write something on your file, always save it. Oh, it is running here as a Python file. Wow, that's interesting. I never knew. And so that is interesting. That is really interesting. And that's because I've told it that so Python, run you run this particular file using Python software. Basically, that's what I'm telling my command prompt. And because Python is already installed in my PC, it already knows that, oh, okay, I'm saying that you should use the Python software to run this particular file. And whatever the file, any instruction I write inside that file, run it. So how do I know? Like I said, Python has been installed. I'll just say Python. I'll say dash dash. Then I'll just type version, and it's going to tell me the version that I have installed there. So going back to the Python in itself, you have list of syntax or instruction that you can tell Python and it works. But they build Python basically to mimic the English language, to make it very easy for programming, unfortunately. So if for instance I say print, so basically I'm saying display and I say 2. If I say display um, 2 2.5, that's a decimal. I press Control S for save. I would run my file, my Python file, and it's going to print all the instructions I ask you to do. I just say literally print welcome to Python programming, print 2, it printed 2, print 5, it printed 5. Now, I did mention that if you want to type anything that has to do with text, you put either a single quotation or a double quotation. And so let me show you what that is. I'll say my name is Hassan Yusuf, and I would save it and I would run my program, and you can see that it ran the program and the instruction inside that particular file. So print welcome to this, it printed it, print 2, it printed 2, print 2.5, it printed 2.5, and it also printed my name is Hassan Yusuf, even though I use single quotation mark. So it is really important you know that strings or text, it's you can either use the single or double quotation. Now in Python, one of the most important thing you should know in Python is data structure. How you store data or how data is being represented in Python. And I think it's the fundamental of every programming language, because at the end of the day, they store all of these things as zeros and ones or a data in a format that they only understand. Now, for data structures, basically, or I would say data type in this case, we have different ways we store data. So you can store data as a whole number, which in Python programming and in most programming languages is called integers. You have decimal or So basically, decimal is also called decimal. Um, oh no, it's actually called uh, let's see, float. Yeah, it's called float. Um, text is called string. Um, and for Python, the command is actually ctr. For float is float. For integers, it is int. Um, for yes and no, true or false, um, you have a data type called you have data type for true and false literally. So true, you have false, you have a data type that store true and false called boolean. So basically boolean, but the the syntax for it that Python understand is bool, BOOL. There's another data type which takes in itself it takes data, so it's like a vehicle that carries data. It's called variable, and anything can represent a variable. Anything can represent a variable. Um, Aside what is built in into Python as a syntax or as an instruction. So, for instance, you can say A is a variable. You can say B is also a variable. You can also say C is also a variable. In fact, I can decide to say um, Mariam as a variable as well, or I can say Hassan. But if you are introducing variable, you have to use the assignment operator called the equal to. Now, in Python or in programming, if you say equal to, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the answer to something. You are assigning whatever is in the right hand side to the left hand side. So you are saying anything, anywhere you see what is in the right hand side, what is in the left hand side, give me what is in the right hand side. So they call this equal sign assignment operator. Please just take note, an assignment operator. So you are assigning something to something else. You are assigning what is in the right hand side to the left hand side. So for variable, which is in the left hand side, you are assigning something to it. So I can assign any of these data types to it. So any of these data types. So I can say let let Hassan is equal to 2, for instance, or is equal to 2, or I can say let Hassan is equal to Mariam. Now it doesn't necessarily mean that it is this Mariam, and I can say let Mariam is equal to 2. Sorry, excuse me. It doesn't necessarily mean that this Mariam here is this Mariam here. Although you can also assign one variable to the other. I can still say let Hassan equal to actual Mariam, and I'll say print Hassan, and I'll say print Mariam. Now I'm going to get errors, which is fine. So the reason why I'm getting this error is that this is just English language. It doesn't necessarily mean anything to Python. So, but I was just typing it so that you guys can understand certain concept. Now, in Python, there's a way I can exclude all of this so that Python can ignore what I write here. It's called comment. And so if you want to comment it, it's just going to be like I wrote English language, and it's not really going to affect the instruction I'm going to give Python as a software inside this particular file. So there's what they call comment, and there's two types of comment. There's single line comment, and there's multiple line comments. And so I would use the single line comment, and if you want to exclude this whole thing from Python so it doesn't return an error for me, I'll just use the hash symbol, hash, and you can see it is done. And so I will say hash, and you can see the color has actually changed. Oh, sorry. And so basically I'm going to use the hash sign for all of these as well. And so these are the single line comment. Why is this single line? It will only comment for only the line that this hash is actually in, as far as it is in the same line. But once I move to the next line, if I type anything, it's not going to cover it as a comment. There is also the multiple line comment, where I will type on different line and it will see it as a comment. And in order for you to do that, you use the double quotation mark 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and what is between it will just be a comment. So I can say my name is Chico Liu, and I'll move to the next line. I am tutoring Python programming. And when I'm done, I will save, and I'm going to run this file again. And you can see it is showing me the first print, which is welcome to Python programming, the second print, which is 2, the third print, which is 2.5, the fourth one, which is my name is Hassan. Then guess what? It is printing 2 and printing 2. And that's because I said Mariam is equal to 2, which is Mariam is an integer, is representing a whole number called 2. And I'm saying Hassan should also take should be assigned to Mariam, which is also a variable, and Mariam is also assigned to 2 as the value under that variable. And so when I say Hassan, it is going to say, okay, Hassan is equal to Mariam, but what is Mariam? Mariam is 2. You to print it out. Then Mariam, what is Mariam? Mariam is representing 2, and it's also going to print. So it's going to print 2 and 2. Now, I wanted to mention, so examples of integers, as I mentioned, are whole numbers. So from negative whole number to positive whole number. Mariam, I think you understand what the plus VE sign means and the negative VE sign means. Since you did mathematics, I don't need to explain what that is, or do I need to do that?
No.
Okay, good. What of Hassan? What have you?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, cool. So basically, we would say negative infinity, actually. Negative infinity to positive infinity. So it means you have negative 1 million, you will see 1, you can see 10, as long as it's a whole number. So this is what integers are. Then floats, I said they are decimals, right? They are decimals. And so we know what decimals is, fractional numbers, 2.1. So let me tell you guys something. So if you say 2.0 is a decimal number, right? 2.0 is not the same thing as 2 in Python programming. I doubt if in any programming language it's the same thing. It is considering 2.0 as 2.0 and is a float, while 2 is an integer because it's a whole number. So please, I really want you to know that. And we can test that theory. For text, which is string, anything can be a string as long as you put it inside a single quotation or double quotation mark. So I can say um, 2, and this is considered a string or a text. I can say, let me type my name, is also considered a string or a text. I can say double quotation mark. I also type here. Sorry, I keep typing in people's name. And so this is also considered as a text, in as long as it is inside a single or double quotation mark. So in if you want to type text in Python programming, it's called string. You don't call them text. Try to be professional. It's called string. For decimals, it's called float, and for integers, again, it's integers but int. I want to then prove to you guys. So I'm going to comment this because I don't want it to affect my program. Or I can either put a single or a double quotation mark. I'll see. Yeah, so it has even corrected it for me. Hold Control Z. Yeah, so everything under here is commented, so it's not going to affect my program. Now I want to show you why this float is not the same thing as a 2, the whole number. So I'll say print, and I'll say 2 equal to 2.0. I'm basically telling why is it showing me error? This is interesting, but let me run it. Okay, so it's fine. I think I can just see this, right? Not going to work. Well, let me see. Oh, sorry about that. It is supposed to work. So I said that the equal to sign is an assignment operator, which is wrong. So I want to test if 2 is actually equal to 2. So that would be a double equal sign. So I'm saying is 2 equal to 2.0 basically. I'm asking it to print, and you can see it even corrected me under the syntax error. Perhaps you meant this sign. So the expression cannot contain assignments. Yeah, that's true. So if I run it, you can see it's telling me true. Oh, that is false. This is false. Yeah, it is true mathematically, but it's actually false because they are not of the same data type. Okay, so I think I didn't portray the example quite well. So I would say let A equal to 2 and let B equal to 2.0. Now, if I want to check the data type of these variables, right? What I just need to do is to say print, I'll say type, and I'll say print type A, then print type B. So I'm basically saying print the data type of this particular variable that I've assigned to this integer as well as decimal. So I'm going to run my Python program again, and you can see it's telling me that the first one, which is A, which is assigned to 2, is of class int, and the second one is of class float. Now if I put a third variable and I say 2 or 2.0, anyone is fine, and I say I'm assigning it to C, and if I come and print the type C, it's going to tell me the variable C is of type string. So basically it's saying that is a text. So in terms of the data types, they are actually not the same thing, which was what I was trying to say earlier. Sorry for using a mathematical term instead of the Python programming term. Um, so this is just to prove that they are literally not of the same data type. The same thing if I say print type true, it will tell me it's a boolean. And it's the same thing if I say print type false, it will tell me it's a boolean. A boolean is something that has either a plus or a positive one or negative one, or it might be 1 or 0, it might be yes or no, true or false, uh, evil or good. Those are like boolean values. So if anything that has something and its opposite, so you can see it's the true is of type bool, so boolean. So anything that has, so a boolean value can be, an example of it in real life can be gender, because gender can be male, female, then 1 or 0, or positive, negative, or true, false. Do you understand what I'm trying to portray? Is that understood? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Am I boring you?
Yes.
Basically, these are data types in Python, and they are also data structures as well. So for our data types, we have integer, which is int. We have decimal, which is float. We have boolean, which is yes and no, positive, negative,